Runs over there watching Pornhub.
It's all right. It's X videos, but you know, whatever. Listening to the Afterworld Podcast. My name is Mankind.
I'm High Rise One.
We're a hip hop podcast on the internet, and we are for the people.
By the people.
That's right. Welcome. We are at Thunder Canyon Brewery today. As Benny Loke just said, the cave. A big empty cave. We are, thank you to Runt for letting us come down here on what I think is
Runtski.
National Beer Day. I'm not sure, but that's what Melissa said. It's National Beer Day on the way out. And I was like, why would they put that on a Sunday?
And we are at Thunder Canyon Brewery.
Thunder Canyon Brewery. Beautiful Thunder Canyon Brewery. We should have done this in front of the window so you could see the traffic, but we would be hella backlit. This is Tucson, Arizona. So, the sun wind. It is National Beer Day. Let's go ahead and welcome our guests in because Halsero, how are you doing today? You've been gone a long time. What's good, my guy?
What's up, man?
Well, please welcome to the Afterworld Podcast, Mr. Halsero. And hey, we got another one with us, a real one.
Whoa.
KP, what is good, sir?
That's good, G.
KP, what's up, man? It's always good to see you,
Mr.
bro.
KP from Engraves.
Yes.
I know y'all have heard of Engraves over there
Yes.
doing their thing. I think we have to say what's up to Ace High, who does our music. We have to say what's up to Benny Loke, who does our engineering and recording and videographing and pretty much everything.
Benny and the Jets.
And I gotta say what's up to Dead Toomey, who does our IG. I gotta say what's up to High Rise and the boys at the table. What's good?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm excited, man. I can't believe we're in brewery.
I love this place,
Why
man.
can't I say? I can't say brewery. I can't say funeral. I can't say, man.
You're right. You can't.
You know what I mean?
You can't say funeral.
I can't say brewery. I can't say brewery.
Yo, seriously. Oh man, it's it's National Beer Day, so I don't think anybody's gonna hold it against me.
Nah.
But we do want to
That's
premise
the
that we are in an empty brewery, so there is going to be some reverb,
That's
a little
what's
bit
up.
of bounce back. It might sound like a cave, but it's all good. Welcome everybody, welcome listeners. It's a beautiful day, Sunday, April 7th in Tucson, Arizona. Did I give all my shouts out? I think, and let's get to it. Honestly, since the last time we talked, man, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Damn, son, we lost a real one.
Yeah, man, real soldier, man, for the hip hop community and his community, speaking in general.
And I'm not even going front. I didn't really listen to his music.
Okay.
I mean, I was one of those guys that was like, the voice, yeah. But riding around V12, Rex in the middle, you know what I mean? I know his music, and I liked it. Especially, it's like one of those things where you go back and listen to it, you're like, damn. Like when I'm not, I was having this conversation with somebody a couple months ago because. They had done a skit on I think it was Donald Trump's daddy, right? Donald Trump's daddy, his daddy's ghost was in hell, right? Dancing around, and I was like, damn, this is hella disrespectful to the dead. I was like, yeah, think what you think of him, but damn. I was like, damn, son, that shit. And so I'm sitting on the couch, right? And my dude is like, yeah, fuck. And he's like, I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say about any motherfucker dead or alive. No, I'm not even talking about Kodak. But
you're talking about Donald
that's
Trump.
a good correlation. That's a good correlation. This was about Donald Trump's daddy,
Yeah, Donald Trump's dad.
who was a bad guy.
Right.
Right, but my whole thing is like, why don't I come from the school where it's like you don't talk about the dead. You know what I mean? You kind of let them rest in peace. That's the whole saying. It's like
Yeah, but
rest in peace.
adversely, extreme comparison, but look at Gaddafi,
Right.
Hitler.
Okay, Hitler,
You know,
Stalin.
we talk very poorly.
Genghis Khan.
Did they do terrible things?
Absolutely.
But you can't necessarily let the dead rest when they're.
Do they
That's
deserve
true.
that respect?
Exactly. That's important. That's
I don't know.
And I think
I don't
comparatively,
know.
when you talk about Hitler's dad necessarily, the guy, while not a murderer or
Right.
he was a horrible person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I mean, Donald Trump is a horrible person. Like he's a
That
terrible
goes without
businessman.
saying, I
Like,
think.
You know what I mean? Like they manipulate lower class people to their own personal advantage. I mean, you're talking about people that are literally like promote the gentrification of certain areas, and on top of that, then abuse those people that they're now pushing out of their own community.
Right.
So it's like it's fair. Like that's fair to say like his dad like fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. But they went way beyond fuck that guy. They made an entire like short movie about how much fuck that guy.
Well, it's like
He was that fucked up,
So
I
that's where
guess.
you get it from then, right?
Absolutely, like father, like son.
All right.
You know, the
His-
shit
his
don't
small
fall far
loan
from
of
the
$1 million.
ass, as they say. Wow. So I mean, I don't know. You know, this is what happens on the Afterworld. We just kind of let topics run, and what it come down to though was like, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. And I respect people, and you know, I'm sure Nipsey didn't do everything right,
No, I mean,
but he did. You know, he did enough good for enough people.
Yeah, man.
I was talking to my friend, and like the reality of why that hurts so much from a standpoint of like somebody that didn't necessarily listen. Like I have friends that don't know who Nipsey Hussle is,
Right.
and that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah,
like
that's
I get
okay.
that. Like I didn't listen to a lot of Nipsey Hussle, but everything I listened to was amazing. Like he was an
Yeah.
amazing musician.
Yeah.
He was
Truly.
but at his core, and I was telling this to my friend, like at his core, he was an amazing person.
Yeah.
Right.
Like as a human being, and that's what's important about this. Like that's why this is a loss. It's not a
Yeah.
loss because we
Yeah.
lost a great
Best
rapper.
rapper.
We
Right,
lost
right.
this and we lost
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like he was absolutely all of that 100%. But at the end of the day, like you're talking about a person that actively was giving back to his community. You're
Yes.
talking about a person that was actively promoting less gang violence. You're talking about a person that was actively promoting the young black community being involved in the tech world, which is something that's unheard of in a lot. Like schools don't do that.
Absolutely.
Like schools that are predominantly black, schools that are predominantly Hispanic, schools that are predominantly any sort of ethnicity that isn't white don't push fields like technology.
Facts.
They don't. And like that's what he was doing, and he was creating and catering those programs to his own, not only his community, but a community that means so much. Like just in LA and in that entire
right.
like that
Crenshaw,
exactly
area,
Crenshaw,
yeah.
all of that, like that is at the end of the day like that's a minority community.
It is.
And like minorities deserve 100% like the respect and same level of like love and education that white kids get. Like
Of
that's
course.
a fact. And like for a person to recognize that, a person of the black community to recognize that and put himself in a position where he could either give back or say fuck it and move out,
Like so many
and
other artists do.
he instead chose to like come back and then
Right.
start building his
All
community
other
like that. Like
artists
back
do.
into his community.
that's why it
About his
hurts.
people. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts to see someone.
And the way he was taken out.
Yeah.
It
Oh.
was just it's horrible.
That
man.
was
The
terrible.
way he was taken out in front of his own business, you know what I'm saying, his own
Truly
neighborhood.
terrible.
Remember-
Just
Well, that's
by-
something to remember
Right,
as well.
you know?
Terrible.
Is on the political side of things.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at gun violence and you look at rates of gun violence and you look at things like that, like who we vote into office and
Mm-hmm.
the kind of people that we put in charge, like that's something to note as well.
True.
Definitely.
Because things like this, people that are for like whether you're for or against gun control, this is an unnecessarily violent action that happens
True.
on a regular basis.
True.
And so why are
Absolutely.
we not like as community leaders and things like that, like as people that push this narrative of we need to stop this, like not saying take your guns, not saying like, but like regulate that shit. Like
Yeah.
keep people who are unsafe away
Right.
from weapons.
We had a very interesting conversation about this in the barbershop, man. It was like, you know, the line between hip hop, rap, and violence.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you know, rappers, you know, we all tend to use our imagination a lot as far as like, pull out my fofo, knock down the door, woo, woo, shooting.
Yeah, gun
and
bars,
violence,
violent
gun
bars,
has
smack my
been
bitch
a part
up.
of rap for
Yeah,
shit for
yes,
a while.
yes,
You
yes,
understand?
aggression.
So, and the thing I think with Nipsey and so many other rappers in that community is that they live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
They live that lifestyle. And
sure.
it's kind of, you can't, a lot of times it's hard to separate yourself from that lifestyle that you come up in, because in that lifestyle, I mean, shit, just being from a rapper, you have haters. You know what I'm saying? People are going to hate you, dislike you just from your bars or your talent. You know what I'm saying? But in certain neighborhoods, if you can give back to your community, you also have haters too that look at you.
Oh,
and
definitely.
There's
very
also a
envious of you.
Definitely, I think that's a big sign of success. Honestly,
Exactly. What they say, what's the saying? If you don't have haters, you're not doing it right.
Right.
But there's also, I
Absolutely.
feel like, a big difference between, like, in hip hop, there's a big difference between like gun and violence, like advocacy,
Okay.
and awareness.
Okay.
Right.
And like being aware of a situation and being aware that like this is what you came up in and this is your like your success
Right.
story out of that, like knowing that that's where you're at, knowing that's where like I think that that's very different than being like, hey everybody, go buy a gun, like ride or die,
true,
this is
true.
where we're at.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
and that's exactly like it's
Definitely.
important to recognize
Yeah,
that
because
as well.
you do have MCs that sit out there and say, "Yo, man, I carry my you know what I'm saying, my piece, whatever with
Absolutely.
me everywhere I go. You won't catch me without my gun." You know what I'm saying? And they're looked up to for those particular bars that those sayings.
Yeah,
you
for
understand
sure.
what I'm saying? So even Nipsey was rapping about those things. You know what I mean? So it's like with those type of bars and that type of rap,
Yeah.
with that genre, you know what I'm saying, that type of rap, there comes a lifestyle that you
Mm-hmm.
cannot ignore.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's
Absolutely.
like being a battle rapper. It's like being a battle rapper.
That's what I was
Oh,
gonna say. Being a
100%.
battle rapper, I put my gun in your mouth. I
Right.
fucking, you know, it's like I do
Right.
this and that with your bitch, and it's all kinds of disrespect.
Yeah. Woo.
You know what I mean? It's like,
You went right in.
I need to beef for that shit.
But
Very unfiltered.
but it's also
yeah.
I mean
And so I think, like we were having a conversation about this over at the Tucson Hip Hop Fest. It's about the culture of rap. We can't
Yeah.
put all that in the one box for hip hop because
you really can't.
we can't. We have that type. We have gangster rap,
sure.
quote unquote. You know
For
what
sure.
I'm saying? We have gun bars, but we also have you got Christian rap. You got
Absolutely,
party
country rap.
Man,
Country
Christian rap
rap.
is insane.
Folk
by
rap.
the way,
Yeah.
Christian
Yes.
rap is so it's.
Christian rap is coming up. Just
I don't
like-
want to say
just
I don't want to
like
say it's
Christian
weird
rock and
or
melody.
anything like
Right.
that, but it is definitely it's the most different.
It's almost like a,
Yeah.
a different. yeah.
It is.
So I think the
I
thing
don't know, man.
With just wrapping up the Nipsey Hussle thing is just that it's sad, man. But
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's awful.
It's awful for the
like,
community.
Hey, man, if you jump out of a plane, then there's a chance you're gonna die from jumping out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I heard him say that he was this generation's Tupac, and I wouldn't disagree with that. And rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I don't even think we need to touch on the Kodak Black stuff, to be honest. It's kind of a mess.
No, I feel like we should.
It's
we-
kind of a
here's-
mess.
here's the thing.
He lost
Because there's a
it.
Here's
lot
the
of
thing
youngsters
about
that
that,
need to
man.
know.
Well, that's what I was getting into in the first place. Was like talking, respectful about people who have passed. And you know, it's like I get it. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, right? But there's a time and a place for everything, right? Like,
All right, let me set. So the thing is that like I get culturally in hip hop, women are not necessarily shining the best light.
definitely.
That's a
There
normal
is-
thing. But
It's
in
disgusting.
the 21st century, in 2019, with everything that's happened with women and with like the
whole Me Too
demand of
movement and all
respect,
that.
Me Too, all of that,
Yeah.
like you shouldn't speak on things the way that, like, especially in a situation like that, especially on a
Right.
platform
Right.
where you're a famous person. If you want to progress as a society and you want to progress, like, I get it.
Right.
I get the cultural, the historical aspects of all of that. But at the end of the day, like, to speak about someone's essentially
Right,
wife.
right.
You know what I mean?
And the audacity to record it.
And the audacity to record
record
it.
it.
But this isn't the first time he's ever spoken negatively about. I mean, look at the comments he made about Young M.A.
Yeah,
Like,
about-
that whole situation
Yeah,
is
About Pac,
trash.
about
It's
Biggie.
trash.
Yeah, so-
And like,
That's gross.
he's not. I feel like the thing is like he's not aware that what he's saying and doing is wrong. Because if you look at the apology,
Yeah.
and he's like
has
no
he
idea
justifies
how to.
what he said. He's like,
He doesn't
said,
know
I didn't
how
mean
to.
to offend anybody. Like,
Which
I
I-
didn't think I did.
I didn't. Yeah.
And
Which
it's
I
like,
didn't.
okay, but
which
like,
I don't think I did.
But
how
then he
could
turns
you
around and
not?
say, fuck it. So what? If I did, y'all, it's like,
Exactly.
bro, you're going to apologize or you're not going to apologize. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what T.I. was touching upon. No, the game was touching upon. It was like, where I think the game is wrong is that you can't put that under a whole generation.
Yeah.
You want to put it on these new generation. So no, man,
Yeah,
not
it's
the
new
whole
generation rappers.
It's not the whole generation, but I would say that it's a trait that only exists in
Oh, recently?
Recently,
Right.
because I mean,
I wouldn't say
so.
that.
I don't think so. No.
no, what would you
No.
compare it to? Because the first thing I think of is Vic Mensa Tentacion situation with his mama at the awards.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's
Right?
like Vic Mensa just fell off the wagon. I feel like more than
Yeah.
anything,
Right.
and then just trying to come to the back, trying to more take his actions and reverse
True.
them back on and putting them on someone else when he's, you know,
A dirtbag.
and when he's like, yeah, has been a part of the issue himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I mean, but you know what I mean. I guess what I mean by that is like I don't remember nobody.
on,
I don't know
Kill it.
This is-
because you
this
got
is
Tupac and
difficult
Biggie. Think about
Okay.
Tupac. Think about Biggie, right? And they had, you know, I'm sure that who died first? Pac died first, right?
Yeah.
And Biggie didn't come out with a diss record after that.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, he didn't.
Oh, Benny Lowe saying, I can guarantee you if Biggie would have died first, Pac would have been dissing his fat ass.
Biggie
in the
did
grave.
come out with Who Shot You, though. After,
Nah,
was that after Pac got shot?
That was after
That wasn't- he
first
didn't
time.
die.
That was
Right.
when
And
the,
that,
he hadn't
sure,
died at
I
that
can
point.
see
He didn't die
that.
this
I can absolutely see that. That wraps into gun bars. But I'm talking about the. I don't know because even what can you say? You got freedom of fucking speech.
Well,
You can say whatever
it's
you
like, look,
want.
we take it from Lil Yachty. Remember when Lil Yachty came out disrespectful and was like, "Oh, I don't listen to Tupac. Tupac sucked."
Yeah.
Nah, it was
All
like
this
I think
other
it was
stuff.
more because he was young.
Yeah.
and he
Okay.
was in the spotlight, and a
Okay.
lot of people were just like, "Oh, you're a rapper, so therefore you ultimately
gotta-
like you're 19.
Okay.
Therefore you like 19 in 2016.
Right.
So that when Pac and Biggie died, it's like you weren't listening to
No,
Pac and
no,
Biggie.
no.
Like
Yeah.
your parents, and he said in his household, his parents didn't play rap music.
Yeah.
So he had to learn it from other influences, and he's from Georgia.
Absolutely.
So like they may be playing Pac and Biggie in Georgia.
They were probably Outkast more.
But yeah,
And you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
In
yeah,
my
more than
household,
anything.
they didn't. Well, not until not until later. But when I was growing up, there was no hip hop.
playing Pretty
Right.
Mob.
My mom played Prince.
yeah.
My mom
Yeah.
played Prince and the Revolution almost nonstop.
'cause
Ohio players, you know, I got a lot of
Right.
old funk.
Luther Vandross, all that stuff, man.
Parladelic.
I mean, because you
Harlem
listen,
Funkadelic.
like you listen to hip hop even to
Harlem-delic.
this day, and there's a lot of rappers that don't have a musicality to them. That
Right.
an artist like Blood Orange does,
Right.
Or that all these jazz artists do. That just really evokes emotion
Yeah.
out of you and makes you want to like sit and listen. It's more of just like, oh, I'm on the go, I'm on a road trip, I'm at a party, I'm gonna listen to it just because.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of rappers are losing that. Well, never even had that musicality.
Well,
beforehand.
I
It's
think
more
they're
like
I
a
think they're
rap
picking up.
Rap
they're-
became party music.
It became very pop. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there's always
Poppy
going to
and
be the
clubby.
fringe. You know what I mean? Where people and the more money you can make off the fringe, the more fringe rappers they're going to be.
Well, not
and
even
that's
that
why
though.
you know.
Like
but-
look at so like new artists as well are looking to the pop side of things, and
Okay.
in order to switch that up, what do you have to do? You have to look at the extreme side of things. So you looked at things like gangster rap, and then you talk about things that you don't know shit about.
Right.
Like
Right.
those are like plain facts. You talk
Right.
about guns, you talk about
It's a
violence,
front.
you talk
It's a
about
front.
it's 100% a front. It's
Right.
like that's
Rich
a,
Chigga.
well,
Well, we don't know how they do
Brian
it over there in
these
China. He
days.
might be hardcore for real.
he's
He's
not
not
he's
hard.
Not
He's like
Chinese,
from
Korean.
He's
Oh,
like
shit.
from Arkansas.
You know,
I
yeah.
thought it was Indonesian.
Nah, he's
got a-
Korean.
You got a
He's
country accent
Korean.
and
He
shit?
got picked up.
I
You
don't
know
know.
who picked him up,
I
though?
don't have no
Atlanta?
idea.
Bro,
Yeah.
Ghostface Killer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Ghostface
so-
is the one that
okay.
signed him.
Oh,
Ghostface
really?
is
Yeah.
the one that put him
Because
on in the first
because
place.
that stick was a video. There's a video of it.
Yeah,
and it was
Wu-Tang
Ghost
get it
and
past me, man. I
Ghostface
have
is
to
just
say,
like
sorry.
Way to
Ghostface
say
is like,
Pride Month.
who the hell
Yeah.
is
It was a reaction. It was a reaction video.
It was-
Yes.
And then he signed him and he
Okay.
jumped on the
Rapper.
remix.
It was
Jumped on the
rappers
remix.
There you go.
react to Rich Chigga.
There you go. That's just like
And he
I don't
got
know if
on from that
Will
shit.
Smith wants to be on that your boy's country rap song. He wants to be
Oh,
in the video.
no.
Lil Nas. Oh my
Will
God.
Smith said he wants to be in the video, bro. He wants to be in
Uh-oh.
that video.
Shout out to Lil Nas. Man.
Shout out Lil Nas.
Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X.
Oh, Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
so it falls under what?
That's gonna be
Any
so-
publicity-
You can't
any
put
publicity
Lil
is good
Nas
publicity.
in your name. That's weird,
Lil
man.
Nas.
You can't
Hey.
put
Has
Nas
Nas
in
signed off
your
on it?
name.
Has Nas signed off on
Maybe,
it?
maybe.
Nas signed off.
I mean,
Why would he though?
I mean,
That's Nas.
Does he?
Because Nas, you know,
Because
Nas
Nas
about
is
the
Nasir.
But it's like
Right.
that's like
Nas
a
is about the
legacy
culture, man.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't even think it would be like. It's more. It's like it's imitation is like a form of flattery. So it's like, but and he's not even rapping like him.
And at the end of the
So it's
day,
like-
Nas got his name from
man.
somewhere
Yeah.
else. Not, I mean, it's his God-given name, but he's named after somebody.
Yo,
It's,
but
you know.
Yeah, but there's a very obvious like It's like if I went by like the Notorious B.I.N. or B.E.N. You know what I mean? Like you like
Well,
it would be but like it's very
I
it's
kinda
like
like
very
it.
it's a very obvious like
Right.
it's an homage.
So-
it's a
You
very
know what I'm
obvious
saying?
thing like to something else
Right.
that I can't speak on at all. Like I don't like you're talking about literally like putting yourself in a position where you're speaking on a legacy you know nothing about.
That's
Well, see, that's-
And to
That's
say
what
like
people
Lil
do now.
Nas,
That's
it's
funny.
like yo, like you either better be
Dope.
fucking amazing
Dope as fuck.
and have that legacy behind you, or change your fucking name.
yeah. Well, what about the what Freeway?
maybe that's
Remember
just me
Freeway
being
Rick
old.
Ross?
Freeway
Rick Ross is still
Right.
alive,
Freeway
still
The
kicking.
real Rick Ross.
Got out of jail, like, and
Didn't
a
know-
rapper
learned
had
about
had
pears.
taken on his
Right.
name.
Right. And he
You know,
tried
so-
to take him to court over. I mean, and he didn't want to give him any. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really give him any.
And
credit
he wanted to rap.
for the thing, right? You know what I mean? So he didn't really give him any credit for his name, and real Rick Ross wound up going to court and suing him, but given his past.
See, so
you know
how
what
does
I'm saying?
that
They were
work?
like, nah.
So I think if it when it comes to that, if it's like, oh, my name is Freeway Rick Ross, I'm not Rick Ross, but I have Rick Ross in my name. If that's like a copyright thing,
Right.
Because Rick Ross is a brand,
Yes.
and I'm sure he has his name copyrighted.
Right.
Then
The real Rose has it copyrighted.
Rose
Now, the real
has it
Rick Ross
copyrighted.
Does not
Yeah,
have permission
yeah,
to use his
Halsero.
own name right
Right. He's
Wow.
He lost that
Freeway
case,
Rick
yeah.
Ross.
I mean,
He
but
lost
how,
that
but
case
how that's
in court.
happening is that, like, with anything really,
Yeah.
it's like people with dances, Cardi B, licensing, or her trademarking, like her signature.
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
like,
the
no,
fuck
no,
you
it's
call
like,
it.
it's like,
Duck
oh,
Quail, she got
or
that shit
something like that.
copyrighted.
She got sponsored by the drug she used to dose those guys.
Oh my
and that's what I'm
God,
saying.
bro.
So,
She did?
Oh.
No, I was like, whoa.
That'd be hilarious.
which is
They're like, hey,
funny. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Is fast
I was
forward
like,
to Lil
Halsero
Nas.
coming with
You know what I
the
mean?
fire.
It's like
I'm just heated
There
about
you
hip
go.
hop,
Me
man.
too, man.
I
I'm
get
trying to pee.
I
Get
get in
heated.
my zone about well, because here's the thing though, is I think it's important to recognize the like I'm not like I'm of this like weird age group. Like I'm not in my 30s yet, I'm not in my 40s yet, but I'm not a young cat anymore either. And I think it's super important to realize and like for me as a nerd, I'll just say it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But like as somebody that like gives a shit
wait,
about
did you
history.
say? I'll just say it. You're a nerd.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, bro.
Oh, like that's a derogatory term.
Yeah. Well, no. But here's the thing: is like
Crazy.
as somebody that cares about not only music,
I'll get- you
but
get-
like
you are a
history.
nerd. I've
and
talked
yeah,
to you.
well,
You're a
know.
nerd.
But like I give a shit. I give a shit about the
Yes.
historical aspects of like what
Absolutely.
music we're playing, what we're doing, and what's going on. And like I care about, but I also care about what's coming up next.
Right.
And like in that, I get very passionate about the past.
Right.
Because I think it's important that we learn from that and that we progress from that, but we
Right.
never forget that.
Right.
And I think that that's where my issue comes in with a lot of like these old rappers saying these new kids don't know anything, these new kids are whack, these new kids are this, and it's like, but you're not teaching them either.
Okay.
Like you're not. You're reflecting on this. You're listening to their music and you're doing this and doing that. But when's the last time you had a conversation with this person, telling him why you think that, or having him justify him? Like that's the other thing is everyone's fucking soft, man. Nobody has to justify themselves.
Right.
I wanted to get into that really,
Right.
like, really quickly.
Well, okay. Go ahead.
Like Nipsey said in an interview that he didn't like instigating violence.
Right.
Like, there was like the reason that I feel like Kodak is the way that Kodak is because one, he has money, and two, he has access to the entire world.
Definitely.
Like people, he's a figurehead,
Right.
and people know who Kodak Black is.
Right.
But then if he had to say this in the same room as hip hop fans and
It
not
wouldn't be said.
and not the yes men, it wouldn't be said.
No,
But people,
absolutely not.
People think that he's like this tough guy because he's on Instagram Live or he's commenting in T.I.'s
Yeah.
posts and saying,
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Georgia right now.
Or what? Like, but if
Yeah.
you had to
Now
like,
you in Tallahassee.
and then it also gets into like a deeper issue of being like mentored by older men.
Absolutely.
And even like older, like experienced women. You know what I mean? When it comes
Absolutely.
to stuff like that. Because, and then also something that Nipsey said that I really loved about, like this is about the internet, is that when there would be fights on the block, that if a dude took out a camera and tried to record the fight, he would point at the dude with the camera and he'd be like, now you're about to fight.
Right.
Like, we don't instigate violence. And I was like, that's amazing, because why are you like an internet warrior? Why are you inciting violence even further than it already is?
Yeah.
We glorify violence.
That's
But see, hip hop has done that. Hip hop has glorified violence. You understand what I'm
Definitely.
saying? And
Video
it's done
games,
very, very
so is
good.
movies,
Video-
so is
exactly,
television.
Right. So
It's up to-
we were having this conversation again, Halsero, about hip hop being its own world. You got
It's a
violence in
culture.
hip-hop, you
It's
got
a culture.
Love, it's a coincide. You got love. You got everything in hip hop. So when something like this happens to Nipsey, it happens every day to regular people, to other people.
For
it
sure.
just so happens that he
Every
was,
day.
You know what I'm saying? Right. It just so happened that he happened to be a rapper, musician, somebody that did good for his community. That's why it hurts so much. And we are trying our best right now in hip hop to get as far away from that shit as possible.
I think the reality, though, on that is, while we're more aware because he's a hip hop artist and everything, I think that if you remove that aspect of it, it would still hit home in a very different way because of the community involvement. And that's something.
Yeah.
And that's something. And again, coming back to like what KP and I are trying to do with like this rap roundtable and this like these community events and things like that. Like that's where it's most important, is because his legacy does not reside in his music. His legacy resides in his community.
That's what's up.
Right.
And the people he's affected and the
Absolutely.
things that he's
what's
done.
up.
Like that's what makes him great.
That's what's
And
up.
like that's why it hurts to see him be disrespected or see his family be disrespected in any caliber, whether it was intended or not. Is whatever. Like the fact of the matter is this: I would never in my life speak on something I don't necessarily know about, and I would never disrespect somebody's family.
Right.
Especially a person like that. Like you want to come at me as a rapper, like you want to come at me as this and that. Like that's cool. Like that's talking on like what I've done as a musician and what I've done. When you're talking about like my real life shit or my death or my passing, like it's gonna you have to recognize and you have to recognize what that means to people. And when you are on a platform and you are in a position where your voice reaches hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people
in fucking 10 seconds.
Realize like what you're saying and what you're doing and how, like, reflect on those actions. Think about what you're gonna say before you fucking say it.
Definitely.
You know, there are radio stations that have already started pulling Kodak's music off.
Yeah, no, that's
Absolutely.
it's the most amazing, and like that's the reality of the internet, man. Like, come on. You think you can say something stupid?
Just as you know what I'm saying, just
Comes
fast
right
as
on
it
back.
It come right
I will
on.
say this though, it is still weird with everything going on. I definitely heard R. Kelly on the radio the other day, like here in town.
Of
Well,
course.
you know what? Because
I think it's a cloud.
there are women that still love R. Kelly, and don't get it twisted.
Don't even
women
get it-
still
yeah.
run the world when it comes to spending money and things like that.
And
Women
don't think that
women
people are
run the
playing
world
that
in
music.
general.
These are computers. You know, these are
Okay,
auto
there you go.
DJs
Right,
that
yeah,
you know you
right.
can't.
I've seen that software though. Like you can look something.
Sure.
It's like Serato or anything else. You can
Sure,
look
but
up
then
and harness and
then
pull
you
it.
got to call Dan to go down to the basement to go do that shit
has
on
to
that
be- it has to be a
1995
collective, something like
Mac.
that.
I think that's even a
Majority of
deeper
women
issue.
are still supporting R. Kelly, bro. Believe it or not. Majority of women still support this guy.
I disagree with that because I think when it comes to supporting R. Kelly, people just don't understand
Exactly.
sexual violence.
Exactly.
Like they don't understand what he's actually done for
Right.
the last 30 years.
I think
And
I
they-
agree with
they'd
that
be like,
completely.
Oh, they'd be like, oh, well,
They just-
what if, like D.L. Hughley said, what if the Catholic priest did it? They do it.
They
all
do
the
it.
time. That doesn't make it okay that R. Kelly does it.
No.
But they're just like, okay, the Catholic, other people do it, so let's just, let me listen to
Right.
R. Kelly's music, because he's, like, even though he's, like, abusing children, and
Absolutely.
it's disgusting.
No
Right,
pass.
that's-
There's no passes given. There's no bro code in this shit.
I would
Like-
beg to differ because, like I said before, there are a lot of women that still support R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I
There-
definitely
it was a woman
because they're
that bailed him
misinformed.
out of jail.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and misinformed or
I mean, all that
Or,
shit with
you
CeeLo that
know,
happened too. Same
yeah,
thing. A lot of women
right,
still
right.
love.
I'm-
You got
I
people
mean,
that
yeah.
accused Michael Jackson. And look at the whole Neverland Ranch thing came out.
Yeah.
And people lost their mind and was like, "Hey, Mike wouldn't do that." You know
And
what
then
I'm
that
saying?
came out that when the dude said he was at the ranch wasn't even
So,
built.
it wasn't even built.
Wasn't even
Yeah.
built yet.
that's the craziest thing about
How do
that.
you,
That
how
whole
do you not do
situation is
research on that
insane.
before you
It's
release that?
They did.
It's
bro.
such a-
They did.
No, they didn't.
No, they knew.
They knew.
Did they
that-
know?
Oh
they did
yeah.
match up and they
Oh,
still
they
released
knew.
it?
Oh yeah.
man.
It doesn't
You
matter
talking
if
about
it's the
dragging the
truth.
dead-
money.
It doesn't
It's money.
matter.
It's money.
If
At
it's
the end
the
of the
truth.
day,
Money.
end of the day, money,
Have you guys
money
seen,
over everything.
Have you
for a
guys
lot
seen
of
this?
people.
What is it? Deep
capitalism.
fake? Is it called a deep fake?
Deep fake.
A deep fake.
What is
Deep
that?
fake.
You don't know what a deep fake is?
Sounds like a yeah, for real, that's what it
I
is.
feel like you keep saying
Am
it.
I?
It's like, you don't know what a deep fake? You never heard deep fake? Deep fake? Come on, deep fake.
Hey,
And then we just switched to a completely different
Benny Lowe,
conversation.
am I saying it wrong? Do you know what I'm talking about, Benny Lowe?
Deep fake?
He doesn't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's basically, essentially, face swap technology. You make someone physically, you make Obama. Actually, with the shit that I was watching, Obama was sitting there telling a speech, and they were saying, yeah, Obama didn't say none of this. He didn't say any of this. This
Swap
is
a
not
shot?
him. This is all fake. You know what I mean? And it's like, it doesn't matter if it's the truth or not. The impact, the damage has been done.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's-
mean? So how many people heard the Neverland story, but they didn't hear the recant?
Spread that shit like
Exactly.
fire.
You know what
That's
I mean?
that's the reality of
Exactly,
of
bro.
the internet as well. Is why it's such a dangerous tool.
Yes.
And coming back to to Nipsey and this Kodak situation and all of that, it's like look at how fast everyone was alerted to his passing.
Right.
Everyone
was
knew
everywhere.
in less
Minutes.
than an hour. Like it,
Yeah.
like from the moment he was shot to the moment he actually passed on the way to the hospital.
True, man.
Like people fucking knew.
Yeah.
Like
In
that's
seconds.
like instantaneously.
I was
people
watching
know
it
these
on
things.
video the next day.
Exactly, and like that's why you have to, and it's important, coming back to what the Kodak situation and everything. I'll pretty much end my rant on him at this point in time. I'm not a huge Kodak supporter. I'm not a huge because I think that he's very unaware of his situation, and he's very but like he's doing things for the hype and for the reality. But like when you when you speak on that and you don't filter yourself, like you need to recognize the fact that like the instantaneous reaction that can happen from saying something like that is absurd, especially now with people being able to film, to record from their phone and all of that. Like that it just happens. It happens, and you need to be more aware of what you're saying and how you're saying
He won't
things.
be though.
No, he won't be. He won't be.
Because he
But you know
same thing with
what?
R.
You know
Kelly,
what happens
It's
is
all an act.
if knock on wood, somebody walks up on him and does the same thing tomorrow. No, there's not going to, it's going to be the same thing.
He won't get any sympathy.
Exactly. They're going to say, oh well, that's what you get. You get what you get. You don't.
I
You know what I
wouldn't
mean?
even
It's
want
like
that. I wouldn't even.
I wouldn't want that.
I
That's
would
what I'm
never wish
saying.
that on anybody.
I wouldn't wish that on
Nipsey
anybody.
wouldn't
But
want that. Nipsey wouldn't even want that.
absolutely not. But you see what that's what you propagate.
Yeah.
When you like
When you open your
when
mouth.
when you start spreading,
Yeah.
if you don't, it comes back to if you don't have anything nice to say, shut the fuck up.
That's what
I
grandma
don't even
used
think
to
it's.
say.
I don't even think it's if you have anything nice to say. If you have anything
Negative.
of like a common sense to
Yeah,
say.
but
Like,
I think that's
no.
reaching for
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
All I
so-
need him to do is shut the fuck up about certain things.
clearly
Don't
see
speak about Nipsey. You ain't got no connection to him or London and none of that.
But that's
so just
that's
leave it the
another
fuck
problem.
alone.
In it. That's
is what
another
it comes
problem in
down
itself,
to. Is
though. When you tell someone to shut up,
Right.
you're just telling somebody to shut up. Like
Right, this is
like we
hip-hop.
should.
You can't tell
we-
somebody to shut
well,
up.
Well,
I just think I
Because
think
they
about
go
it as
right
well
yeah, you
from
gotta
like
say shut the fuck up.
yeah. You got. I mean,
And get the crowd to back you up.
absolutely. I think this is where like awareness comes in, and like telling him like don't just tell him to shut up. Tell him why.
Right.
Like hey, like what you said. And this is why. Like this is why it's wrong. And if he doesn't understand that, then absolutely, like
Right.
then be like, you know what? Then shut the fuck
And you know
up
what?
and like don't speak on something.
That's
that
exactly
you're
what
refusing to be.
T.I. tried
Tried
to
to
do.
do.
Because T.I. is very articulate. So when he made his post on Instagram about, hey man, you know what I'm saying, you need to catch yourself, and he told him fix it.
He said remedy. He
fix
said
it.
remedy this expeditiously.
Right. And Kodak Black came back with like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah, you gonna little boy me.
Right. So I think
Which
go ahead.
if we're being honest, I was quite surprised that Kodak was able to say expeditiously, quite so articulately. Like seriously, you gonna talk like that? You
But
gonna
we all know he's a crack
expeditiously?
baby. Kodak Black's a crack baby.
Who taught you that word?
He's a crack baby. He just made it. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
want
He's
to.
a crack baby.
Yeah, he's more unfiltered.
So-
Like he just
Right.
got a lot of money, but didn't
Right.
his ways didn't change.
There's
not
someone
at all.
off camera that has some kind of sense though that's not giving him the benefit of
I
it.
don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Then how is he not
there's
dead by now,
There's no
then?
way that he could have done as much as he's done without somebody being like, okay.
Look at Donald Trump though.
now, but see, that's different.
Yeah, but he's got his team are
They
all
think
white
they're
supremacists.
right though.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I'm saying. And that's
different.
why I
Like,
think
his
Kodak's
team's
got
like
somebody
that.
on his team that knows how to make money and knows how to promote. but thinks they're right, thinks he's saying the right shit.
Well, you know what? When
You know what I mean?
Kodak was
It's
saying that
demented.
shit, you can hear some of his homeboys in the
Yeah,
background.
it's like it's
yo,
okay to say
Kodak,
this
too
shit
soon.
and not tell him.
You can hear him in the background saying, "Yo, this
Yeah,
too
you
soon,
watch the
boy.
video. You got
Shit,
to.
man, it's too soon." You know what I'm saying? But he went on the shit anyway.
A normal person you would think would try.
Nah, I think when it comes to hip hop, that a lot of people are doing hip hop. They're making music, trying to make music because it's a capitalistic game.
Yeah.
People aren't
Absolutely.
telling a story.
Blueface.
Yeah. People just don't care about music like that enough to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna watch myself,
Right.
or I'm gonna learn about particular things or how my words impact people.
Absolutely.
Like,
So do we continue to keep trying to bring them along the right path?
Well, that's
or do
it.
we say, you know what, y'all stay over there, and we'll do this over here?
No, because then we divide, and then
Yeah.
it's just like there's no.
If you're dividing people, then you're fucking up.
You're fucking up big time.
True.
If you're building
If
a wall, you're fucking up.
If you're saying do we just separate them? Do we just cut all them off? Then it's like here's the thing is then you're also establishing a reason for revolt.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna beef with you if you're like you put me in this corner for no fucking reason. Like I didn't do anything. It's like yeah, but you support this person and you do this and do that. And it's like okay, cool, but like why is that a problem? It's like because and you know like if you don't have that dialogue, if you have the like you know what, fuck this, I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not
build
gonna
a
talk
wall
to you.
mentality.
Then, exactly. Then that is upsetting. Like that angers people. Like to be pushed off, to be separated, to be cast aside. For something that you may or may not you might be ignorant about it is
Revolution.
yeah, and that's creating this like separational community as well, and like we should be building. People should be building.
That's what I was gonna say. Is 100%. Nipsey would want us to build.
With Kodak.
Yeah,
Well, I
right.
mean, but then
with or without Kodak.
Like Nipsey's spoken on that too. It's just like he said that dudes that are on goofy time, just put them in the corner. Let them do it. And like
give them a timeout.
Yeah. Like that eventually.
Y'all gonna stand over there.
Like now Kodak is like he's gonna feel the repercussions of the internet because
he is, bro.
He already is.
Like
his money. When they start hitting his money,
agents aren't gonna book him.
Yeah, venues are gonna start.
Venues are gonna be like, oh man,
they're gonna blacklist him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be like, well, and he's like, oh well, I just put out this great album.
That's why he's already apologized. I'm air quoting apologized twice. Trying to backpedal, but in the apologies he keeps fucking up.
I guarantee
he hit that. I'm sorry, you got
he's more worried about the repercussions coming from street cats.
That's all he's worried about.
That's what he's worried about.
Well,
He's
not
worried
street
about
cat.
rappers. He's worried
about that money.
The hood cats. I'm telling you, he's because he know he can't. His bus ain't gonna be able to go nowhere. He's not gonna be able to go nowhere.
That's true.
With
Nipsey's
that
loved all over
right.
the planet.
Now, like I said, man, hip hop fans.
Which he didn't say anything about Nipsey though.
Are shit. You feel what I'm saying? You can't get on stage and be disrespectful to somebody that's like. Look what happened to Machine Gun Kelly when he was just battling Eminem. He got on stage.
Yeah, but you can't.
I'm not comparing none whatsoever. I'm just talking about the fans.
Eminem fans are crazy.
Right. Okay. There we go.
Fans are crazy. Period.
There we have it. I remember I could say when Ja Rule came out here one time. Okay, he did a horrible show. And on his way out, we were pelting his bus with bricks and rocks and all that. So it's like you can't
I remember that. I forgot about that.
You can't be disrespectful to the fans. Because they're the ones that you literally put you on your pedestal.
Especially you come to a small town like, I mean, this is not a small town, but you know, you're going through these small towns. You're an artist. You gotta talk to the people, and you know,
well,
Nipsey
it's like I said, the
was
last
a man
one,
of the
like,
people.
you're not shit without your community and your
without
family.
the people.
Like everything starts. Like any community, any group of people that's gonna bring you in anywhere is gonna make you want to connect with. Like you have to connect with them.
Absolutely.
Like you could be super famous or this or that, but like all of that starts.
Perfect.
All of that starts locally.
Perfect example. Thunder Canyon Brewery. It's going to be my funeral if I can't say brewery by the end of this show. Perfect example. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our community and Runtski sitting over there at the bar. Thank you so much for letting us sit in your establishment.
Thanks, Ron.
Rock the world. Jive and scientists are the truth, man. Legends.
But they are.
Legends. Legends.
Oh, you heard me? Ron's over there watching Pornhub.
It's all right. It's X videos, but you know, whatever. Let's go into a little bit about Engraves. But first, I wouldn't be right if I didn't mention the Have Not House Party coming next week for my guy Benny Loke. Shout out Benny Loke. April 12th at Solar Culture. There's going to be hip hop things going on. Myself and High Rise are going to be hosting it on the stage. Yeah. Killing it. We got some special glow in the dark shirts just for the occasion. Yeah. So yeah. Oh man, we are about that life. So let's go into Engraves, man. We got the motherfucking man KP in this bitch right now. And I was watching a post last night where you said, do you remember the stats from Engraves? You had over 90 people sign the board?
We had originally, it was 6 of us that signed the board. Yes. And including us 6, it was 88 more people that signed it.
Wow. And over what was the duration?
It was like, we had the doors open for 9 sessions. We started, I believe, Sundays. January 31st.
Oh, wow.
And then we ended just this last, when we went to the Music Entrepreneurship Club.
Yes.
That wasn't technically an Engraves Sunday sessions, but it was like
it was a culmination.
It was a result of it.
Yes.
So it's just like, really.
That was up in Phoenix, right?
Yes,
Cato.
Yes. How was that? Honestly, I don't want to diverge. We'll go back to Engraves, but how was it taking that, like a group like that?
It was like 11 of us.
Yes, I saw the picture. It was phenomenal.
It was really cool because me and all the other guys in Engraves thought it was like things like that don't happen.
Right.
Like music conferences don't happen so close to Arizona.
Yeah.
That
but
they should. Oh, 100%.
Right.
That it's so accessible. Like there isn't a South by Southwest here. There isn't an A3C. There isn't a Complex Con.
Nope.
You know, like although we have all of these, we have so many people, but they don't cater to our audience.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's hugely fragmented. We keep saying fragmented, either by genre, by geography. I was sitting in, where was I at yesterday? And I don't want to get too far in Engraves. I want to come back to Engraves. But yesterday, I was actually, I can't say where I was, but there was these 2 dudes talking, and they were like, yeah, this is Tucson. And he was like, we hate Phoenix. He was like, this is just in our blood. We hate ASU, we hate Phoenix. And I was like, no, we don't.
You hate ASU.
I was like, you hate Phoenix. I was like, the last time I was in Phoenix, I got a picture of it. I mean, it was a wall. Man, it had to be 50 feet wide by 20, 30 feet tall that said, this is Wildcat Country. Phoenix is Wildcat Country. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn.
I just think it's weird because people want to try to create this facade of a thing. Like, Tucson, Phoenix is better than Tucson, Tucson's better than Phoenix. Oh, we're better at basketball.
For whatever
reason.
It's
like weird competitive nature when both teams suck.
Right. Like, honestly, it's been a heavy struggle.
Both teams suck.
Yeah.
Like, terribly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not from Arizona, but like, I'm gonna objectively speak on these things. It's just like, you guys are not good.
Like, do you go to U of A?
I do go to the U of A.
Yeah,
but it's just
you're a Wildcat.
Yeah, no, I'm not. It's more of a
no.
It's more of a catalyst.
Wildcat by association.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like if anybody, why not? You know what I mean?
Not even.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not if it was a great team, you would have no problem saying, hey, I love this team.
No, I would say it's a great team. I wouldn't say that I love this team.
Okay, well, I mean, now we're just mincing words, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say here. Yeah. So, where are you from?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. What's your home team?
I don't have a home team.
So who do you go for?
Then? Well, I mean,
he goes for Engraves. He goes for his team, right?
Well, we are going way off the thing, but I'm a Dallas fan. I'm a fucking Dallas fan. So straight up. I love Dallas.
I grew up in Dallas.
Who is this man?
And here,
Mavericks, not Cowboys.
Well, I mean, you talking about Mavericks?
I'm talking about Mavericks.
Okay, so like I used to be a Dirk fan.
Yeah.
And then I was a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. Then I was a Kevin Garnett fan.
Sure, absolutely.
And then I became a LeBron fan.
Right.
Because I grew up in the age of LeBron.
I feel you on that.
It's like, and people be like, oh, you're a bandwagon. Oh, are you voting for Miami Heat or are you voting for Cleveland? I'm like, where LeBron is where I am at.
Right.
100%. And people be like, oh, you don't have a team. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't want to go through the development of a team.
Absolutely,
like,
right?
I
feel you on that, too.
As a person that loves great things, why would I root for something that's bad?
Yeah, right.
Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
That's fucking great.
Like, all these people that'll be like, oh, I'm a Sacramento Kings fan.
Right.
I'll be like, why? They're bad.
Right.
They may have good players, like
Right.
they're good attributes, but I feel like that's the same thing with high school ball, college ball.
Definitely.
Is that there's so many, like, NBA players are good. Like, an NBA player could kill me in the game.
Right.
But at the same time, there are great players that genuinely care about the game.
Yeah,
and genuinely
absolutely.
care about getting better. You hear about those times where, more recently, I had seen an article where Kyrie, they had done a game. Kyrie was still in the gym practicing when everybody went home.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would I not want to root for that?
Yeah,
Versus
absolutely.
root for somebody that's out here just doing some
Yeah, they
bullshit.
got
Like,
into his Porsche and went to the party afterwards, right? Like,
yeah. And it's just like, well, bro, like you want me to root for you, then you gotta be.
you got to root for you too.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I mean? It's like you got to show up. And I mean, yeah, that definitely. So I want to relate that back to Engraves because I feel like that was a big. It felt like winning. You know what I mean? It felt like no matter what you do, you could come there and you were going to be a part of something that was very special, and it was going to. I don't know how y'all got any work done, honestly, because that many creatives in any place. I mean, it had to have been like herding cats at some point. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, from time to time, but I just I was in the military for 6 years.
Okay.
I went in right after high school.
Right.
And in basic training, it's 2 months of waking up at 4:45 a.m. and not going to sleep until like 10, 9. But from 4:45 a.m. until that time, you're doing something at every single moment. So it's just like you're never on
Stagnant time.
No, never. Never. You're either walking somewhere, eating something, or doing some type of exercise, or in some type of meeting or whatever. Like you're on time. You're early to be on time. It was so much. So it's just like when
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So when we have people there, they're just kind of hanging out and stuff like that. We're just like, well, you could be involved in the process, or you could get out of the way.
Right.
Like we're not here to hang out.
Spectate.
Yeah. We had during the sessions we had a couple of those moments where people are just kind of hanging out.
Right.
And people would complain and be like, "Well, this is becoming like quote unquote like a community center." Well, more than anything, if you have an issue, address it.
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
it's more than anything. People are just like so afraid to address other people directly.
Absolutely.
And not like because they think that it has to be such a negative thing, but it really doesn't.
Right.
If you're doing something that someone doesn't like, then you should be addressed.
Yeah.
If you're being lazy, then you should be addressed.
Absolutely.
Especially in a productive environment. If you're an artist and you're not writing to a beat, or you're not helping another artist write to a beat.
Right.
There's songwriting, there's production. You could be doing all these different things and being collaborative.
And I think, honestly, you made the commitment to get your ass over there.
Exactly. Why would you come over there?
So you're probably I'm intimidated. You know what I mean? I feel like I would. You know what I mean? It's like I'm sure. It's like, oh shit, I'm nervous. I'm nervous to show my shit off.
Yeah.
Type of feeling. You know what I mean?
And I'm 25, so like I'm older than I think the youngest person there is Kaiser. He's 20.
Okay.
So, but
oh wow.
I think Zach,
really?
Zach is 20.
Kaiser's really young.
I know, but I was thinking it was I mean, it looked like a young crowd to me.
Yeah, Zach is 22.
Okay.
So like, I had to grow up fast.
Yeah.
I had to grow up really fast because I'm working around 30, 40-year-olds that have been in the military 10, 15 years.
Right.
And even like people that are older than me in that sense is like 23, 24, but they've been in the military 5, 6 years. Yeah, exactly. So it's like I can't be this lazy person that just kind of like
no excuses, man.
Yeah. So,
You gotta march just like everybody else.
That's like where the hustle comes in, though. Like if you look at like like me, and I mean the same, like hanging out with people that are a lot older than you, that are like working professionals and doing everything like that. Like you live like I live in a way where I'm constantly doing stuff that is like progressive, or like trying my best to like learn or work on myself, like work on what I want, where my goals are, like staying in focus.
Definitely.
And like if you're coming into a situation like that and you're like, oh, I want to go and I want to work, I want to do this, I want to that, and then you're just hanging out, like you're dismissing yourself, and like you said, you should be called out for that. Like I believe that 100%.
Right.
You if you're going anywhere with the intent of growing, and then not growing while you're there, then you're losing out on an opportunity.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the Rappers Roundtable that we talked a little bit about it last week, but we didn't really touch on any kind of details, and I'm wondering.
Now we want to touch it.
You got the tip.
Pause.
Whoa. Just the tip. But I'm just thinking. I mean, what? So. I mean, this is. Oh God.
First base, baby.
First base, baby. Hey. We're all rappers around here. Is what's going on.
I'm not a rapper, man.
Me neither.
I just
I'm
make
not a rapper
beats.
either.
I don't bang, I rock the good rhyme.
Dude, I mean, but this is something, we talked a little bit about it last week.
Yeah.
And it's really just an opportunity for people to come and be around like-minded people. Another opportunity because, it's important for and I think Engraves really, and that's why I have so many questions about Engraves, because I feel like that was the kind of incubator type of situation to catalyst people to have enough interest and to do something like this, where it's not necessary, but I think it's interesting that you were able to get, what was it, 90 or 88?
94 people in total.
94 people total,
including ourselves. So it's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then really,
on a Sunday.
Yeah, and then really how it all came together is that like 5 of us go to the U of A,
Right.
and we are in this music club. And there's this LA executive who will not be named.
Is that the Elevator Pitch Club?
Yeah, the Elevator Pitch Club, but it was previously named after an LA music executive.
Right. I remember
really
that.
Had no involvement in it. Like gave us FaceTime us like twice or whatever. And then he FaceTimes us and he's like being all motivating and stuff, but then I get up and we create a plan. And then it just starts to become a thing, a more community-oriented thing.
Right.
Where it's just like, just invite the homies. And then the homies invite the homies. And then we get to become homies with the homies. You know what I mean? It's just like...
Absolutely.
And it's just like this thing that just kind of expanded and became a thing faster than we anticipated. Really expected, honestly.
Right. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. What's going to be the next iteration? Do you guys have any plans in the works for that?
We wanted to like curate it more. We never wanted it to be a permanent thing where people are just like, okay, this happens every Sunday, because like 2-3 months from now, it's just been draining.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been exhausting. So we're just like, we're going to do this until this point.
Right.
And then see what happens in between.
Absolutely, and I feel like you've done an amazing proof of concept. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, there's a need. If it's available, they'll come, they'll show up, and we can actually. I mean, do you know how many songs you guys busted out? You know what I mean? Do you have a general idea? Like we did.
It's like
30, 40,
probably
10?
like in that range, like 30, 40.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about like. But it wasn't even just music.
Right.
It was photography. Like
Absolutely.
how many videos were taken. We had videographers in there, photographers, graphic designers, managers. You know what I mean? Like people that really just wanted to be a part of the music business and the music industry, and we're just kind of like cycling people in. Like, if you paint, you're allowed here.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you sculpt, you're allowed here. We had a violinist in there.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
We had a dude. We had a jazz pianist in there.
Yes.
Shout out to Albert. Shout out to Daniel.
Hey.
Yeah, we had just people in there with this like musicianship, but also people that wrote.
Right.
That you know what I mean? Just did all types
full
of things.
spectrum. It was a full spectrum kind of place, man.
Exactly.
I would be foolish if I did not mention Just Meditate. That video and that song, man. I love Zico.
Man,
First of all, shout out
Zico,
Zico.
bro.
That's my guy. Shout out Cody too. That video, it's lit. I love it. I gotta stop saying. My daughter said you can't say lit no more because I was going crazy with that shit.
Liddy.
I was litty. I was all kind of shit. You know, I'm bling bling. I'm grandma saying bling bling. I'm not, you know, as soon as I get hit to some young shit, it's no good. We can't do that no more. You know what I mean? So, we got people at the door and shit though. So, but yeah, man. I mean, you know, we're gonna do it. Honestly, I want to keep a open dialogue. I love to like figure out how we can make this platform involved with the next iteration. I mean, honestly, we were a big part of Engraves. I feel like we had several weeks at Engraves.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? So that's something near and dear to my heart. Honestly, it was just the community, the people, and being one of the names on that board. I was very honored. You know what I mean? It's like to be even a small part of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm inspired to continue to like branch off and to make sure that was something solid, that something will result from that, just from my perspective. You know what I mean? I know motherfuckers is gonna do their thing, but I wanna make sure from my perspective that we continue. And I think the rapper somehow using this platform to catalyst with the Rappers Roundtable, even if it's just to critique or get the word out or whatever, you know what I mean? We're here. I want to be involved. Thank you guys for coming and talking to us. Honestly, let's keep the dialogue open.
When is the roundtable again?
So I'm not really sure. I'm aiming to maybe start them this month, like end of the month kind of deal.
Yes.
But I think it's important to like, you know, coming back to literally everything we've talked about today about like the ideas of like people talking on things that they don't know about, the idea of people not calling each other out, the idea of like people like clout chasing, all of that, respecting the culture, respecting where you come from. Like that's what that is at the end of the day. And I said that last week. That like I'm not trying to shit on anybody, and I'm not trying to, and that's why I talked to KP. And I was like yeah, like you guys are doing something that's very community based, very like, and you're in a position where like. I think it's like the old meets young, but also like we're the middle ground because we're both like pretty, you know, mid 20s. Like that's like where we're at. I mean, I'm late 20s, whatever. But like that's we've also kind of put ourselves in a position where we respect everybody, and we respect what is going on and what community we're part of, but we're also like fully aware that like there could be more, and we're able to speak on that in a way that's not disrespectful. And like, so when we want to do what we want to do with that roundtable and with that idea is just bring all of that to the table and start calling out the Kodak Blacks, start calling out the Blue Faces, start calling out all these people that can't rhyme on a beat, or all these people that are talking about things that they don't know shit about, or people that are saying things that they should not be saying, because that's how you build your community. Is if you learn how to say, I mean, even like
you have to police your own, man.
I mean,
right.
Like last week,
definitely.
You know, we were talking to Ski Mask, and he was saying like. He was saying that he doesn't.
You called him Ski Mask.
You're sorry.
Mask Zombie.
We were talking Mask Zombie. I don't know why I kept saying. I'm all over that.
That's
but
hilarious.
Anyway, so we were talking
it.
to Mask Zombie, and he was saying that like he wants to learn how to better express himself and like
Definitely.
Through
do
rhymes,
songs
through
that
rap,
aren't just
right.
like super hyped and super this and super that. And the thing is, he's early enough in his career where if he can learn to do that now. He can round himself out as more of an artist than somebody that's just hype and just this and just that.
Just by sitting with other older MCs or peers amongst them that know how to do that.
Exactly, and that's where KP and Engraves
that's valuable. That's valuable
too. They built
too.
that community and they built like that respect for music. I mean, that's what you guys did so well. It was you built a level of respect for music that was not just about the artist.
Beautiful.
And so like now we have
a beautiful thing.
To do something like that.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, we are out of time, you guys. So I want to just say thank you so much for popping it off in here. Let's do it again. Let's keep it going. Keep us informed on when we're going to start the whatever it's called, the Rappers Roundtable.
Rappers Delight.
Rappers Delight, baby. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you to Thunder Canyon Brewery. Thank you to Runt. Thank you to everybody over here. Thank you to Benny Loke. I want to thank KP and Engraves, Zico, Kaiser. We're going to have Monty Dula up in here for sure. Yeah, you know, the whole Squid Odd. I would. My guy, young Davon. Love you, Davon. Cut his hair. My guy, Halsero, rocking the spot, gave me the parking spot. So for Thunder Canyon Brewery, for the Afterward Podcast, I'm Mankind.
I'm Hot Rods One.
That's Benny Loke. Peace.